podcast for the hopeless and the romantics. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Katie.
Katie.
And
this week we watched
Easy A.
An easy A.
Mm-hmm.
An A that's easy.
So easy.
Such an easy A. This movie is so cute.
So good. So good. Came out in 2010.
Mm-hmm. So long ago.
The year I graduated high school.
Year after I graduated.
Scary.
Scary.
Which, yeah, that means it was 11 years old, that movie is now.
11 years. I know. I can't think about it. It stresses me out. Because, like, I remember loving this movie. And I was saying to Katie while we were watching it, it's like the last vestiges of, like, the quirky girl movement. Like, where everyone was, like, obsessed with Zooey Deschanel. And, like, you know, everyone wanted to be, like, the quirky girl that talks like a thesaurus and, like, has all these witty little comebacks and plays the ukulele.
Yeah.
You know? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, like, it was definitely, well, maybe not even the last vestiges.
No, because I feel
been
like
the beginning.
Yeah,
that's
like,
true.
Like, New Girl came out, like, a few years later.
Yeah.
Or, like, maybe the next year or something.
And, like, 500 Days of Summer, like, was, like...
Just basically anything with Zooey Deschanel. Yeah.
If you've got big eyes and bangs, then you're a quirky girl.
Yeah.
Oh, and you have to be able to sing.
I do think she's, like, quirky, but I would see her more as, like, spunky.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, what do you define quirky as?
I don't know, honestly.
Like, quirky to me is, like, has, like, a kind of, like, modest, like, vintagey vibe and, like, plays ukulele and is, like, I'm weird. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like she's, like...
Yeah, I could see spunky more so than quirky.
She's
got, like, the quirky humor.
Or is it witty humor?
Maybe it's witty.
Yeah, what is quirky? I'm
maybe
really
they're
genuinely like,
hand.
What is quirky?
Yeah.
Because I feel quirky is like, I'm weird.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Very Aquarius energy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Whereas like, because, like, what is quirky humor?
Yeah, true.
I'm not trying to clock you. Am I clocking you?
A little bit. You're like, but quirky isn't a thing, so good job talking about it.
No, I just, like, literally was curious. I'm being like, genuinely curious.
No, I feel like quirky humor is like, touch my butt and buy me pizza, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's quirky.
Yeah,
that's
quirky humor.
Like, definitely I can see, like, the, like, New Girl, she's, like, a quirky girl.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, that's no hate. I love New Girl, so I love Zoe. Because I was a quirky girl.
Quirky girl. Yeah, no shade to the quirkies out there.
To the quirkies.
All you quirkies out there.
I feel like I'm a quirky girl sun with a spunky girl rising.
Okay, work. I don't know what I am.
You're your own.
I don't think I'm quirky.
Babes. No.
I think I'm like...
beautiful, amazing, talented, stunning, like, scene-stealing.
I'm like... a sassy sun, sad moon.
Everyone's moon is sad, baby.
True.
So Easy A. I love Olive Pendergast.
Olive Pendergast, the maybe quirky,
maybe
spunky, witty girl.
Insert adjective here. This movie is so cute. Just the whole premise of it. I think it's such an original idea and concept.
I was literally thinking that. I was like, this is such a, like, cool way to talk about this.
Yeah. And
like,
the thing is, they talk about, like, slut shaming without as much slut shaming as you thought there would be.
True.
You know, they more so wanted to, like, touch on, like, bullying and, like, high school rumors and gossip and how, like, you know, it can really affect someone's life.
Well, and I feel like obviously they did the thing where it's like the movie coincides with, like, the book that they're reading. But I feel like when you juxtapose it against, like, Hester Prynne and the Scarlet Letter, I like that it's kind of like, has really that much actually changed?
Yeah.
Or are we still ostracizing women for being sexual beings?
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like, it's such an interesting way to kind of look at that.
And it's so interesting because it's like the girls who want to be sexual beings but aren't judge the girls who are sexual beings.
So true.
Like her best friend, Allie from Allie and AJ, potential breakup song, baby.
Is her name Rihanna? Yeah, Rihanna.
Yeah. She wants so badly to be known as, like, a slut. Or, like, she's lost her virginity.
She's got huge titties.
And she's known as having big tits, which, like, mood.
Yeah, we both have that.
And like then when she finds out her best friend is going and sleeping around even though she's trying to tell her she's not, she's like judging her for it, and like just really takes the easy road instead of actually critically thinking about why her best friend may be doing these things.
And I feel like it's like jealousy.
Yeah, 100%. Because she thought she would lose her virginity before Olive.
It's also just like so silly that that's such a focus.
High school, man.
I know.
High school is so hard, and this movie just like brought me back to it. Because it's like, even when I was in high school, I was called a slut because I had big boobs, a part of my anatomy that I literally had no control over.
Who dare called you a slut?
I know.
Name them, baby. I'll go get them now.
But I mean, it's like I was considered easy because I had big boobs. I had a womanly figure in high school.
Womanly.
Where it's like I wasn't built like a 13-year-old boy, and that's what was attractive in the early 2000s.
True.
And like if you have anything other than a 13-year-old boy build, then
good luck to you.
Good luck, because apparently you're out there fucking.
Whoa.
Which like
intense.
You know?
But true. Yeah, I feel like this really kind of like, for me, it like really resonated with the times. Mm-hmm. Like that's how everything felt at that time. And like the clothes and everything.
Yeah. Oh my God, the fashion in this movie is rough.
I know that like everyone feels like they're like, because I definitely do the thing where I'm like, ugh, early 2000s, and now I'm like, oh my God, I just want to wear butterfly t-shirts and like clips.
I want to go back to butterfly clips,
Literally.
And like be able to fit into Limited 2 again.
Right. Again, girl.
I was never allowed to shop there. It was too expensive. For what? For a shirt that'll fall apart in the dryer 2 weeks later?
I was not allowed to even like go into that store. We would like pass it by, and I'd be like staring longingly at like all the cute girls.
Our school shopping would be my mom getting excited because she had Kohl's cash.
Yes.
So I would be able to get 2 outfits. That was me at the beginning of the school year. I got 2 new outfits.
Okay, I remember when we got a Super Walmart. It was like a huge deal, and my mom was like, "You look at all the nice clothes they have at the Super Walmart," and I was like, "Yeah."
Lower middle class realness.
Woo! And honestly, I made that shit work.
You did. I was
a fashionista.
I believe
even
it.
in my Walmart.
I
so
believe it.
Screw you, Limited 2 girls. Traumatized.
Oh God.
But
yeah. So Olive is kind of just like making this statement in the movie, and it's just so. She's so much smarter than literally anyone else that goes to that high school.
I feel, and it's like you come into the movie and she's like. Clearly she's like already narrating kind of like what her experience was, like kind of telling you the story of like being a virgin and like
through a vlog,
a webcast. She said the word webcast and I lost my mind.
I was like, I didn't even realize that was a word.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know that was still a word.
It's a webcast, baby.
Web? But yeah, it's kind of like you come in on her and she's trying to figure her shit out, and she's just trying to like be normal and fit in. But there's this definite feeling that she's never really been like noticed before, and she's never kind of been like sought after as like the hot girl or anything like that.
Which is insane. Imagine seeing Emma Stone and being like, nah, I could do better.
That's the thing with movies.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's so hard. Like, I know it's a movie, but I'm always like, it's Emma Stone.
Yeah, everyone thinks she's hot.
Like,
yeah, that's why My Big Fat Greek Wedding was so good. Anyway.
Yeah, true.
You know? Call back.
Because she is gorgeous, but they did a good job of making her look like.
Well, and she's like, I feel like a normal, beautiful woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's not like, okay, like where did
Emma
you
Stone.
come from? Yeah. So anyways, she's doing her thing, and she basically just like tells this lie to get her friend to leave her alone. And her friend, because in this also, this kind of shit would so happen in school where it would be like, did you kiss him? And he'd be like, no. And they'd be like, oh my God, you did.
You slut. And then
you kissed him. And you're like, So her best friend is like, oh my God, you had sex. And she's like, no. She's like, no, I didn't. Like literally, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And it's just, her friend doesn't believe her. And then the extremely Christian girl hears them in the bathroom. Amanda Bynes.
We love. She is doing so much better now, and we stand.
She is a child star who has probably gone through so much more.
I mean,
than we can imagine.
Thankfully, with all the Free Britney stuff that's happening, people are starting to really take a critical look at child stars and how they were treated. Like even just Jeanette McCurdy from iCarly. she like will not act anymore. Like she has all this stuff about Dan Schneider, who is a creep, who I'm pretty who worked with Amanda Bynes on
on All That and the Amanda Show.
Mm-hmm. And like it's just crazy how you see people who have worked with that man are just like
so traumatized. Yeah.
But like I'm so happy she's doing so much better.
Me too. So Amanda Bynes.
Yeah. Tangent.
If you're listening, we love you.
If you're listening, Amanda Bynes.
But yeah, so she plays like this Christian girl who's very, anti-sex before marriage, basically just anti-sex. And she starts a rumor about Olive, that Olive is having sex, and all of a sudden everyone starts to treat Olive differently, which I think is so tea.
Yeah.
It's so tea. It's like people find that out, especially in high school, and then all the guys are like, what's up? Like, it's so gross.
Yeah, that happened to me when I first started having sex in high school. I had a boyfriend who I was with for like months, and then we decided to have sex, and like we stayed together for like 2.5 years in high school, but it was still like everyone knows you're having sex because you have a long-term boyfriend. So the guys are also very obviously giving you different attention from the girls who you're friends with who aren't having sex. And it just makes it very obvious. And it's just like, all right, well, I guess this is my life. I have big titties and I have sex.
Yeah, so that's kind of what's
Which
happening.
Isn't a bad life to have.
I mean, but like it sucks to feel like as a woman, it's like that's your worthiness. It's like, oh well, at least boys like me because they think I'm having sex. It's just like such a weird thing.
And I just wish, the amount of like shame that comes around sex, it's like so natural to be having sex in high school. It just is. Like, it's unsafe, because we still live under the puritanical rule of abstinence or, like, not teaching, like, sex ed within high schools. Even, like, if it's queer sex ed or, like, straight sex ed. Like, none of it is taught. And, like, that's why, like, it's just so sad. That's why, like, this, like, slut-shamey sex negativity really, where it comes from.
And it's so unhelpful, like culturally.
So unhelpful. It does nothing but perpetuate like really negative stereotypes towards women who are comfortable in their sexuality and are okay with, not even okay, but like celebrate the fact that they have sex.
Totally.
Which I celebrate the fact that women have sex.
Yes, God. But yeah, so she's like doing her thing, and then she gets detention because she calls somebody a twat.
Which is, it's like iconic. Such a funny moment, like because the girl says like, hey, nice wardrobe, you abominable skank, or something like that, because Olive changes her wardrobe to like better fit this sexy standard, and Olive goes, maybe you should get a wardrobe, you abominable twat. And such a comeback.
Yeah, good comeback. But she gets sent to the principal's office. She gets detention, and then she has detention with Brandon. And her in detention, and she confesses to him that like she didn't actually have sex, and he's like, what, you're a fake slut? And then they're kind of like talking about that, and he tells her that he's gay, basically. I mean, like everybody already suspects it, but he like confirms to her. And he's really struggling with that. And she's like
in detention for being bullied for being gay.
Literally.
But he's the one who gets detention because
he like fought back,
and he called the principal a fascist.
He did,
a homophobic fascist,
which is hot. We love.
We love.
But yeah, so Olive is like, why don't you like lie?
Yeah.
We should all just do that.
Like maybe we all kind of already are lying about who we are. So why don't we just double down and lie even further and just make it so like extreme that people can ignore the lie and think it's truth.
So yeah, so then it's like, you know, he gets an idea.
Yeah.
But also we need to just like really briefly talk about how when she tells her parents that she got detention, there's
the parents in this movie, I'm convinced they're like one of the best. They are the best part of the movie.
Stanley Tucci.
Stansif Tuchifer. Come to the office.
Literally Stansif Tuchifer. Like, Stanley Tucci, if you're listening, I just want to say,
I can't say what I want to say.
I can't say what I want to say.
I literally can't.
Like, you're beautiful, and in this movie, you're so like you're the perfect dad / husband. Like, you're funny and like.
By the way, if you're not Stanley Tucci, please don't listen.
Don't listen to this. Yeah, no, it's like really insane. It's like the parents are like the ideal parents. They're like cool,
supportive and fun, and just like
goofy and like,
but like know when to be serious.
Yeah, they treat her like a person.
They treat her like an adult
instead of like the way that a lot of times happens, where it's like the teen is treated like a baby. Like, they're
treated like someone that the adult is in charge of.
Yes.
Like,
and that like the adult doesn't understand.
Yeah. They're like, well, I'll never understand you kids with your TikTok, you know?
Exactly.
That's kind of how I feel. But like,
mood.
I'm trying. But like Stanley Tucci, the man, the myth, the legend. We just have really big crushes on Stanley Tucci.
I just want to remind the world, and I just told Danielle this, but I'm going to tell the whole world. He is married to Emily Blunt's sister. If you don't know who Emily Blunt is, sorry for you. Emily Blunt is married to John Krasinski. If you don't know who John Krasinski is,
sorry for you.
Sorry for you. And also, like, what are you doing? So basically, she's married to Jim from The Office, and her sister is married to the hot dad from Easy A, Stanley Tucci.
Stansive Tucci.
I just want you to like think about what the holiday parties are like.
It's so fun.
Oh my! Just like John Krasinski and Stanley Tucci, just like so hot and just like hilarious and like nice. I'm so grilling. Yeah, I really picture them grilling.
Yeah, like on a back deck.
Yeah.
This is our family party.
Yeah. So we love Stanley, and you know, that's never going to change, but this role for him is great. And I feel like you don't see parents like that in a lot of these type of movies. Like, it was very different. I remember the whole time being like, I mean, I love my parents, don't get me wrong.
Because the parents are always kind of like distant.
Yeah, they're not like main characters like that, or they don't have the relatability factor. And I feel like I remember watching it the first time and thinking like, I love my parents, but like that would be cool too to experience. Like,
right.
You know.
Well, and Patricia Clarkson plays the
God,
mom.
I love her too.
First of all, she's gorgeous.
Gorge.
So beautiful. And she's just like, she's another actress who's like so good in every role she's in. This movie filled with incredible actors and actresses. True. But like Patricia Clarkson and Stanley Tucci for me stole the show.
Yeah.
They like make them characters, but believable characters that you would meet outside of a movie.
Yeah, like I would like a spinoff just like, about them.
Yeah, because it could be easy to think like,
it could be easy
it could be easy to think that like, oh, these are just characters, these aren't real people, and like any lesser actor would have made it feel that way.
Yeah,
they would have made it feel like these are not real parents, like this is just something someone's written. But like they make them feel so real and so in love and so sweet.
I know. I love it.
It's so good.
It's so good.
We love them.
Yeah, obviously. So her parents are great, and they're just kind of like, okay, well, you got detention. That's weird, but like we trust you. Basically, they're not upset or anything. Yeah. They're just like, okay,
whatever.
But then Brandon comes to the house because he wants to
a boy.
He basically wants to ask her if she would have sex with him. And she's like, no, I haven't even had sex before. Like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, well, we could just pretend. And he's like coming up with all these scenarios. And at first she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm already dealing with this like one rumor. And then he gets like really serious, and he's just like,
he like really opens up to her.
He's like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
he's like, if I have to keep going the way it's going, I don't know how much longer I can do this.
And it's
which is like heartbreaking.
So sad. And it really is this like moment of seeing like how homophobia is like so detrimental to the psyche, and just wanting to fit in and trying to survive, and having, you know, like queerness be a factor in your experience, especially in high school. And I mean, it's gotten better, but like even then it was still just like,
and this is 2010, only 11 years ago.
It was still rough, you know, and I'm sure it's still rough as well.
And they did a good job at like talking about him being gay without making it dramatic. Like,
so true.
It's very understated, the homophobia, but it's still very real.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how it is in high school. Like, if you're not gay, you don't know what's going on if you're not one of the active bullies. You might not see it.
Right.
So you might not know how terrible their high school career might have been. But like
exactly.
There are like these like straight guys who are just tormenting these people and you don't know it.
Exactly. And that's kind of what you can see. You see into like, he might be like, you know, funny and brave and all of this stuff that you see on the outside, but there is like this pain behind that. And it hits her and she decides to help him by pretending to have sex with him. She's kind of already like, well, I guess the rumor is there.
Yeah, I might as well.
Yeah. So then they go to like this party
where
my God, they know everyone's going to be.
This scene is incredible. So they go to the party where everyone's going to be and they start to fake having sex. And like, it's just so funny. Him being like, do you smell that?
Yeah, and she's like, ew, ew. And they're just like, like just like so loud and like banging the wall. And it's just like so extra.
And it's just so funny because like when they finish having like their fake sex scene, they come out. And as soon as Brandon comes out, like all the guys are like, yo, how was it? Good for you, blah, blah, blah. And like then it goes to when Olive comes out of the bedroom and no one is talking to her.
Yep.
They're all just like looking at her and whispering. And the only person who talks to her is Todd. Woodchuck Todd.
And this is when
Penn
you learn.
Badgley.
Oh, Penn Badgley, who now has a creepy vibe in my mind because of you. Because but I still care for him. But like, I did watch him do some things that make it hard for me to feel as like loved up as I once did.
I know, because I loved him from watching Gossip Girl, but having rewatched Gossip Girl, I'm like, ew, he was still a creep in that too.
He's a creep in Gossip Squirrel. Yeah.
XOXO.
Gossip Squirrel.
Go piss girl.
But yeah, so and then you find out that years ago, this is who she's always had a crush on, is Todd. And years ago, they like had to play 7 Minutes in Heaven, right? And they're in the bedroom and like they were in 8th grade, and then they're supposed to kiss, and then he's like, could you just tell everybody that we kissed? I'm like scared. And she agrees to do it. So there's a theme here. But anyway, so Todd is the only person who talks to her at this current party. And it's like, he just doesn't care. He's just sweet to her, you know? Yeah. And she's obviously like all fucked up. She's not able to kind of like give.
It just shows like how different it is for men and women.
Yeah. It does. It's so weird. Like, not even just in life.
Yeah.
For women, it's like
such a double standard.
It's such a double standard. So you can see it kind of playing out there, and you can see it's already starting to affect Olive's like
mental health.
Yeah.
And like the way she views herself. Her friend reams her out for having sex. Her friend Ree is like, I can't believe you slept with Brandon at a party.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
and this is ultimately what kind of makes her like shift, like, well, fine. Like, if this is how it's going to be.
Yes, exactly. And then she changes her wardrobe.
Then she changes her wardrobe, which, like,
and she puts
shopping montage.
Shopping montage. We need the shopping montage.
And then she puts the red A on all of her clothes.
Yes.
And that's when she goes to school. And another student, like, comes up to her and is like, hey, Olive.
Brandon told me
what you did for him. And she was like, oh, well, it was just as good for me as it was for him. And he's like, no, like what you actually did for him. Like, could you do that for me? And she ultimately does because
he says, this is what's so interesting is it's like, he's like a bigger guy and stuff. And then he's just like, whatever, I'm just a fat piece of shit. And then she feels really bad because she doesn't want him to feel that way. And like, she can see that it's hard for him too. So she agrees, but she starts to get, and because Brandon gives her like a $200 gift card. So then she decides like,
this is my side hustle.
Yeah, I'm going to get gift cards. So it's,
yeah.
I love that. So she's kind of doing her thing for a minute.
Yeah, she has like a lot of like kind of like the outcast boys are coming up to her and being like, what's cooler than being cool, ice cold? Outcast boys.
I hate you. You loved that. You thought you were so funny, Danielle.
I didn't have to think it. I know.
Ice cold.
But anyway, a lot of the boys.
Caroline.
Sorry. A lot of the boys who like you know, haven't grown up yet. They're still going through high school ups and downs.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. The boys who, like, don't really get the attention from the women that they would like are approaching Olive and asking, like, hey, can you do this for me too? Like, and giving her gift cards. So, like, all these rumors about Olive are, like, flying all over the school. And she has her teacher, her favorite teacher, pull her aside and be like, what's going on?
Yeah, and there's like a little bit of a montage of her like getting gift cards, and
it's cute.
She's like, okay, fine, we can say we went to second base, like whatever.
And it's like a lot of like bartering, like,
yeah,
wait, second base just for this much? Like it's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's cute, but it's also, you're kind of like, this seems like it could not end well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, so then
her teacher pulls her aside and is kind of like, what's going on? And this is the teacher who assigned like the Scarlet Letter as the reading,
and he's
like,
really like cool and down to earth. He's
teacher.
funny, and that's her favorite teacher.
Mm-hmm. So like she really like, you can tell she kind of doesn't want his opinion about her to change either.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like talking around the fact, and he's just like, listen, just be safe, you know. What happens after that?
And he's like, they're like joking about the Scarlet Letter. He's like, I think you're taking this a little too seriously. Yeah. She's like, I should be getting extra credit.
Yeah. Which, like, honestly, she should.
She should. She really put herself into Hester Prynne's position, kind of, you know, of being ostracized and outcasted. Outcast?
Caroline.
Okay.
We can't keep saying the word outcast. We can't, because I'll just keep singing.
So then she has to go to the guidance counselor's office.
And the guidance counselor is Lisa Kudrow, and she's married to the teacher. And we love Lisa Kudrow.
We do love Lisa Kudrow.
We love Lisa. But so Olive is like, I'm going to tell the truth, like, because this is starting to affect Lisa, if you're listening. This is starting to affect my life. Like, let me just tell someone. And, you know, high school guidance counselors are, if you're a high school guidance counselor, please listen. They're more traumatizing than like what the students are going through.
Literally, like, not a counselor.
No.
Not guiding me.
Not at all.
It's so weird.
Like, I can remember going to my high school guidance counselor and like being like, this is an issue I'm having. And then being like, oh, well, you have to stay in the class. Sorry about it.
My guidance counselor literally told me, like, you should go to a local college because you'll probably not succeed.
It's like
going to fashion school, which, like, first of all, that's literally the opposite of your job. Your job is not to tell me I can't do something.
Discourage children.
Literally, your job is to... I almost want to call her name out, but I'm not going to.
I know, I want to call mine out. I remember her name.
I know, me too.
I remember her by name.
I do too. And honestly, like, what? Like, I remember though, thankfully, I was like, I don't believe this. Like, I almost gave me some more fuel, so thanks a lot.
Yeah.
But what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell? Why wouldn't you just be like, here's what you can do to get there? Like, it's not your business what I do. You're just supposed to help me, make me feel better.
Yeah.
Give me some guidance.
Counselor. Can you do that, please?
God.
So yeah. As she's leaving the office, because the guidance counselor doesn't help, she just gives her a bunch of condoms.
Yeah.
She runs into Marianne, which is Amanda Bynes. And they have a little heart-to-heart moment because Amanda Bynes' boyfriend's parents are getting divorced. And Marianne is like, I finally broke through to you. And, like, they become friends for a day. And it's a very cute moment.
Which also, like, the whole time Olive is just kind of like, okay. She doesn't really care.
Like, thumbs up.
Yeah, she's just like, sure. But, like, you can tell Marianne is like,
so excited.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
She's still crazy. But, like, it's, like, kind of cute. Just because I like seeing Amanda Bynes happy. But it comes out later in the day that Marianne's boyfriend has chlamydia. And
a bad case, it seems.
Yeah, he's in the hospital.
He's in the ER. Honey.
And the mom is like grilling him, like, who'd you get it from? And he says, Olive Pendergast, because he panics. And we see him talking on the phone to someone like, I just said Olive because I panicked. I love you so much. We're going to be together. And it turns out the person he was talking on the phone to was Lisa Kudrow,
the guidance counselor extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
And,
you know, Olive walks in on Lisa Kudrow having a meltdown because like she's gonna lose her job, she's gonna lose her husband,
which is the teacher. Did we?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember.
Which is her English teacher, and Olive goes, she just breaks my heart. She goes, yeah, I could have chlamydia, because she just doesn't want to see this woman's life like fall apart. And like, it's so fucked up how some adults put like their problems on children, and then the children are the ones who have to fix it.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, even in that moment, it's like you can tell that Olive is again falling into this
pattern
of like, oh man, like I guess I can what's another thing, you know? What's
like I might
thing?
as well have chlamydia if I'm already sleeping with all of these boys,
and
supposedly.
She even says it's like she's so worried about like her English teacher finding out. Mm-hmm. Like she doesn't want him to know that his wife has been cheating on him with a student.
Which he's technically 20 because he's failed high school so many times. So like the teacher's like, I promise it's legal, but
so weird.
Still very strange and really morally not great.
Yeah, not good. So
this is when she gets asked on the date.
Yeah, so she gets asked on a date, which like isn't what traditionally has been happening to her. Yeah. And it's like a cute guy. So she's excited.
It's the boy Ree has had a crush on for so long.
Yeah.
Since like second grade. And she's just like excited that someone's giving her some like positive attention for once.
And he takes her to the what is it called? The lobster house maybe or something? Lobster.
So it's basically like Red Lobster.
Red Lobster. Yeah. It's like a fake Red Lobster. Yeah. And they're eating, and then she sees Todd because he works there and he has a lobster on his head, and she's like, I'm gonna call him Lobster Todd. And then she also sees
Ree
there with her family, and she's like,
we have to go. And like she thinks like this date is like going kind of weird, like she's talking too much because she's never actually been on a date before, mind you. Like even though she supposedly has had all this experience that she's making up, like she's still like an inexperienced high schooler who has never been on a date before and has never had a boyfriend and has never kissed anybody.
Yep.
So they're trying to sneak out of the lobster shack or whatever it's called, and Ree spots them and is just very upset. And then the boy she went on a date with, he doesn't deserve a name.
He doesn't deserve a name. He sucks.
He knows that Olive is accepting money in exchange for
sexual favors.
What he thinks are sexual favors. Like he thinks she's actually doing all of these things for like, gift cards. And like, he's like, I paid you, like trying to make out with her. And it's really a gross scene.
It's very rapey.
Yeah.
It's very assaulty. It's like, and she's like really upset because she thought it was like a real date.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can give you this $200 gift card to Home Depot.
It's so gross. It's so sad.
So she kind of shoves him off and is like, and he's like, this is bullshit, and like drives away.
Drives away and leaves her there.
He sucks. We
garbage.
Hate him.
We hate.
But Todd, baby little Todd.
Todd is leaving work and like Penn Badgley and like a white button down with the sleeves rolled up.
He's got good. He has a very good physique.
He does, and like his hair is curly and dark, and that's like. For me.
Yeah. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. Yeah, I realize this is an audio medium and you can't see me chef's kissing. But so he offers to drive Olive home, and like I love this scene because she's just so unabashedly like sobbing in his car. Just like
I like when one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when he's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I just have like a twig or like a branch or like a contact in my eye.
Because I didn't know you wore contacts. She's like, I don't.
That's why my eyes are watering.
And like she's just sobbing in his car, and I love this because like so many times in movies it's usually like, let me hold back the tears. I have to hold in the tears. But like she's just like, a shitty thing just happened to me, and I'm just gonna let it out because like there's no use in hiding how I'm feeling anymore.
Totally.
And Todd is just like so understanding.
He's so sweet. He says he doesn't believe. He's like, I don't believe any of the rumors. And she's like,
why?
And he's like, just like,
because I remember a scared little
eighth grader
who was scared to have his first kiss, and someone said that they would do it. Or someone said they kissed me.
Yeah.
And it was her.
And it was her. And he says, like, oh, he's so cute. He basically says, like, I wish that you would have been my first kiss.
Yeah. But we find out his first kiss was Ree.
Which...
her friend, who knew that Olive had feelings for him.
So
it's a little bit like, Olive, you don't really have to feel all that bad because you didn't even make out with him anyway.
Exactly. So yeah, so it's such a sweet moment, and then he basically tells her that he likes her, and she's like, I've always liked you. And it's really cute. And then I like this moment where she asks him, like, why now?
I was just gonna say I like that moment.
Love that moment, because I feel like in movies a lot of times that'll just get like
glossed over, because it is kind of like convenient timing when there's like all these rumors going around that she's easy or whatever, and now suddenly Todd likes her. So I can understand why it's like, let me just like see if I can get a read on why now, you know, like. And he's like, I haven't overanalyzed it like you're about to, which like just says so much about how he understands who Olive is.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know, like, but I haven't overanalyzed it yet like you're about to.
Which is real.
Which, like, mood.
Because I'm about to overanalyze it and I'm not even in the relationship.
Right. But yeah, so that's like a really sweet moment. It's kind of like the first moment where you see her kind of like being treated nicely by a human man that's not her dad.
Yeah. Or her teacher.
And meanwhile, her teacher. Meanwhile, her parents are starting to get worried because she's doing the whole like Scarlet A, and like I think this is when they're like going to watch the bucket list.
The bucket list.
The bucket list. Hey, now we can cross the bucket list off of our bucket list.
We can cross off watch the bucket list off of our bucket list.
So cute.
So her parents are worried, and she's like, don't worry, I've got it under control, which like she doesn't really, but so when she goes into school the next day, like there's like a mob, and I think this happened earlier, but like anyway, like Marianne and her goons are like, you know, get Olive Pendergast out of the school, like calling her a slut.
I mean, this part I will say is like a little bit wild.
It's one of the few moments where it's like, that's a stretch of the imagination, because like no matter how fascist your principal might be, that's like very flagrant bullying, like where you have like picket signs outside of the school, and like her best friend Ree, she finds Ree out there like protesting with them.
Which you know, I think Ree became more enraged when she saw her at the lobster restaurant.
The lobster ravioli.
But yeah, she's out there, which is obviously the most hurtful thing. It's like, it's fine if a bunch of strangers are like shitting on you, but like if your best friend is doing it, that's like so painful.
Yeah. And so this is when Olive decides, like, I have to do something. Like, I have to ask if the boys who paid me will recant. So she goes up to every guy who sent her, who gave her like a gift card or something, and is like, hey, you have to tell people this isn't true. You have to. Like, my life is just being ruined at this point. And like, we find out that Brandon has run away with a lover. The other boys are just not willing to do it because
they're getting action now, because
they are getting action,
which sucks, because it's like she deserves
to like
be able
live
to
high school in peace.
Yeah, like she's learned her lesson. She's like ready for this to be over. So she ends up going to Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah.
And she's like, I need you to tell him. And Lisa Kudrow's like,
tell who? Her husband?
Yeah, tell her husband.
Oh,
and like tell, like, well, basically just like tell everyone. And you know, she's like, I'm not doing that. Like,
she's like, we both have to live with our mistakes. Your mistake was lying. Mine was potentially ruining my life. So
she's pissed. And she like runs right to the teacher and she tells him.
Yeah.
And she's narrating and she says like, that's the worst thing that I did.
Which like, it's not a great way to go about it, but like, don't beat yourself up for someone else's actions that they were asking you to cover for as a 17-year-old girl.
I was just going to say, yeah, she's a grown ass woman. She should have been handling it already.
She made her bed and she's going to eat it too. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like it's just, it's not a very great moment for Olive.
Yeah.
She's very sad.
And so she decides to have her random musical moment. And this is how she's going to get everyone's attention.
You know what I just realized
to watch
we didn't
her
talk
webcast.
about? We didn't talk about Penn Badgley as the woodchuck.
We can talk about it now, baby. He's about to come
But when
out.
he chucks is it called chucking the wood? I don't know. I think I just made that up. When he's like pretending to bite the wood. That's so funny. And it goes on for so long.
And like you can tell they used the same audio sample twice. It's like the same audio sample. And like it's just repeated multiple times because he's like pretending he's like chewing on the wood.
I love that they have like this like hot boy doing that job because I feel like it never is like that. And
well,
it's
because
like,
he used to be the Blue Devil, he got to run around half naked. So they had the hot boy, but then they were like, well, now we're the woodchucks, so get into this costume.
You have to be a woodchuck. He's really convincing though when he's biting that wood.
I believe he's a woodchuck.
I believe it too.
I believe he's a woodchuck who could chuck wood.
Woodchuck could chuck wood.
Woodchuck?
Wood.
But so then she decides to have her big musical moment where she sings Knock on Wood.
Yeah, better knock on wood.
Go. So she sings it and she's like, this is how I'm going to get everyone's attention because I need them to watch my webcast.
My webcast.
So this is how she's like, you know, she's singing and she like puts her little feather boa on Ree as like an olive branch kind of, because like she just wants to show Ree she's still thinking about her. But anyway, she's singing very sexily, very scantily clad, and she says like, if you want to see more of me, or she's like, I know you would rather watch the woodchucks, but wouldn't you rather watch me do one?
A woodchuck? And then she like grabs Todd and like pretends to take him away, and so obviously everyone's like, what? So
she tells them to tune into her webcast, and this is where she lays out everything that's happened, and it's basically what we've been listening to her narrate the whole time. And you kind of just get to watch all the stories come together. Like you see, she texted Ree and says, "I'm sorry for lying." You see the teacher watching the webcast, and like Lisa Kudrow walks by and says his name, and he just ignores her.
She ignores her.
Straight up ignores her.
Yeah.
Her parents are watching and are clearly very proud.
So proud of her. And there's that moment too with her mom that before she decides to do the webcast, there's this moment where I'm like, I can't even say it, where her mom basically is like, I was a little promiscuous as a young woman too, and like, it's fine, it's okay, like,
look how I turned out.
Yeah. And she
says, she's like, you're smarter than me.
Yeah,
you'll turn out even better than I did. She's
basically like, it's okay, people make mistakes, and and
it's okay, people have sex. It's a really lovely moment because like her mom's so goofy, but like she brings it in so she can have this talk with her, and she says like, we learn to handle, or like we handle it with humor, like we handle this stuff with humor. I love that because that's how I feel too. That's definitely how I cope. Just ask my therapist. But yeah. I hate that now. God, we're so annoying. So yes, Martina, are you ready? We're on TikTok too much. TikTok. That was me being a high school boy in class. You know how TikTok. You know how dudes would do that. They would just like say things really loudly for no reason. Like Wheezy F baby, like stupid shit. I would just be like, why are you talking? I know this movie did not make me feel nostalgic for high school. No, or boys, high school boys. But yeah, so she tells her truth and nothing but the truth. So help her woodchuck. And while she's telling the story, she's kind of like bringing up little, quotes about John Hughes movies. I forgot about she has this. She says like, well, real life isn't like a John Hughes movie. Like, I'm not going to have John Cusack like standing outside of the boombox, or like, Patrick Dempsey riding off on a lawnmower with me. Or like Judd Nelson, like fist pumping. I mean, I'm not going to have Judd Nelson do that either. Oh, no. Oopsies. Fist pumping.
Anyways, so Judd Nelson, La La La, Breakfast Club. She's kind of basically saying she wants that, and then
she misses chivalry.
Chivalry, and then as the webcast is ending,
Penn Badgley shows up underneath her window
with doing the song.
Don't You Forget About Me
from Breakfast Club,
and he's on a lawnmower
with like two Bluetooth, like with two speakers, which is really cute because who has a boombox anymore?
Exactly.
And
basically she says like they have like a cute little moment through the window, and she says to the webcast like, so now I'm gonna go on a date with a boy I really like, and I might even lose my virginity to him, but whether that happens 5 minutes from now, tonight, 6 months from now, or on our wedding night, it's none of your business.
Also, ballsy to say on our wedding night.
I know. I thought the same thing.
Like
I thought, or like lose my virginity to him. I was like,
first of all, I wouldn't even say on our wedding night on my actual wedding night. Like I would be like,
is that too clingy?
I would be like, that's insane. Like I'm not gonna say anything about us getting married.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. So it ends really cute.
They ride off on a lawnmower. Fist pumping,
and that's what and I feel like this movie is it does have that like romantic comedy vibe. It's actually so funny, and it like really held up for me. Like I was like, this is still really, really funny.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the way that it kind of takes on the idea that like people are always going to have something to say about you, and like there's always, you know, going to be bullshit, but like the right people don't care. You know, the right person or people, they don't care what other people think of you. And they don't care what rumors have gone on or like what insane high school thing has happened to you. It's like the right people see past all of that. Yeah. And I feel like that's like the romance that you get from Todd. You know, he like sees who she really is.
He's so... I say this every time. It's so painful.
I know, man.
And he's just so sweet and so beautiful, and like, you know, it's true. Like the right person's just not going to care.
They're not going to care about any of the baggage that you think you have, or the things that you've done, or the mistakes that you've made. They're going to see who you really are through all of that, and that's what love is really about.
What's love got to do? Got to do with it.
Okay, so Danielle, how did this movie fuck you up?
How did this movie fuck me up? Honestly, it was probably Brandon's storyline was really painful to watch, because it's like I said earlier, like that can be happening under people's noses and they just have no idea. And that's how it like how queerness affects you in these formative years, like just not being able to be who you are because there's someone like trying to do everything they can to make your life miserable for no reason except that they didn't get enough love at home, or like they themselves may be gay and like can't handle that someone else is accepting of their own gayness.
Yeah. That's so painful.
It's so painful, but the movie also fucks me up because like it's just very... Honestly, it's really sex positive for an early 2000s movie.
I agree.
Like, it tackles the subjects of, like, you know, slut shaming without being derogatory towards people who still have, like, choose to have sex, you know? It's, the main message isn't, like, this is what happens when you have sex. It's, like, this is what happens when you care too much about people having sex.
Exactly.
Yeah. This
is what happens when it becomes the focal point of your existence. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. That's so true.
So, Katie.
Yes?
How did this movie fuck you up?
I'm literally shocked.
I know.
I'm shocked. What was that? I'm scared.
It was a Muppet asking you, how did this movie fuck you up?
A Muppet?
A Muppet? A boy?
A boy?
A boy.
A boy.
Katie, how did this movie fuck you up?
Oh, God. Okay. I think that this movie fucked me up. I honestly think like the teacher and his wife scenario. Like, that was so dark. And also, like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, obviously I have a soft spot for like the fat kid, because that's obviously like an experience that I'm familiar with in and you know, definitely had to deal with in high school, of just feeling like that people are so fucking shallow, and like there's all of these, you know, rules around finding like being with the like hot people, or like what people deem as like socially acceptable for you to date or be with. And I feel like that moment where he's like, I'm just a fat piece of shit, I'm like, that's so sad,
because it's like so real,
and it's because that's how people you know, that's how you're made to feel if you're not like, you know, fitting into society's standards, or you're marginalized in any way. I feel like that made me probably the most like, oof.
Yeah, that part hurt.
But honestly, the parents fuck me up in a good way, but also a bad way, because it's like, they're like, oh God, they're just to me, and I think to you, they're like the perfect parents. Again, I love mine, but like, I just feel like they just have this liberal, funny, like, they've adopted a kid, like they're just cool, and like I want to be them.
You know what, they're high parents.
They are. And I want to be them, like I was saying, I was like, this makes me want to be a parent. Like,
right, I agree, like I want to be a parent just so I can be Stanley Tucci.
So you can be him.
I'm gonna be Stanley Tucci.
I want to marry him. But yeah, that vibe, that part really fucked me up, and I think was just like a fun thing to see in a movie, like kind of reconstructing the idea of like what the teen parent has to be like, and kind of playing with that dynamic. But it definitely made me feel like long for that, because I feel like, especially when it comes to like sex and stuff like that, in my family it was very like, we don't talk about it, it's not a thing, we're Catholic, so I was envious of like
being able
openness.
to have that open communication. I do want to say one more thing before we get on to did they or didn't they. If you are in California and have the chance to go out to Ojai, first of all, it's beautiful. Second of all, visit Bart's Books. Support local bookstores.
Local bookstores, baby.
Bart's Books is so cute.
It's like in the movie.
It's in the movie. Yeah, it's shown in the movie. And it's just like this little outdoor bookstore.
I'm really concerned for the rain.
I don't know how I'm sure they have a way.
Do they have a secret roof? Like, how do they deal with it? That really stressed. As soon as I saw it, I was like, what about if the books get wet? Like,
I'm sure they have a way of protecting them. But yeah, if you ever have the chance, go to Bart's Books. It's very cute. I love that bookstore. Like, Ojai's only a couple hours from here, so only a couple hours. So I like to go there when I get the chance. But yeah, go to Bart's Books. Local bookstores, baby.
Local bookstores. We love.
So, did they or didn't they?
Did they or didn't they?
They did. Yay. We love to see it. We love to see it.
And I love to see it because it's a male who is, you know,
so supportive
of the bullshit and seeing her for who she really is.
Makes his own opinions.
Yeah. Isn't defined by high school standards. Ugh. And then gets on a lawnmower. You know what I mean? Rides in on a fucking lawnmower with the speakers. I loved that.
It was so sweet.
Yay.
Yeah. we loved this movie, and we had so much fun talking about it and watching it, and we hope you guys had fun listening to us talk about it. You know, join us next week.
I think we should start saying like and share our podcast. You know what I mean?
Like and subscribe. Oh,
and comment if you have any movie recommendations that you want us to do.
Yeah, send us some recs.
Or just like your opinions on the movies.
Let us know what you thought.
What do you think?
What fucked you up?
What fucked you up?
Yeah, what part of the movie fucked you up? Yeah, so join us next week, and we will see you then.
See you then, babies.
Goodbye, babies. Bye. Bye-bye, booey.